fortunate today to have Summer Pommier with us. And she is going to be, as you can see on your agenda, focusing on mentoring. And so we'll have Summer today, and then Tom Keller will be here tomorrow, and then we'll have Summer back on Thursday. What day is today? On Thursday. And so just to tell you, but also to kind of reconnect, earlier during our panel, several of the panelists really talked, I think, pretty passionately about the importance of mentorship. And not just in the context of, we need mentors to help guide our research, we need mentors to help orient us to the literature and help us learn how to navigate it, but also around the idea that, we need a variety of mentors for many different aspects of the different things that we're trying to do. We have career mentors, we have personal mentors, all number of mentors. And when we talk about mentorship, we talk about seeking out faculty or others to help guide us. It sounds great, but there's a lot of sort of intimidating and challenging and unknown steps in doing that. And there are real skills involved. And I don't pretend to tell you that at the end of these next 3 days, you're going to have every skill you need to be the most successful you can be in developing mentoring relationships. I'll tell you right now, I have a 4-year undergrad, a 2-year master's, a 4-year PhD, and a 2-year postdoc, and I am still in my career as a faculty member trying to learn how to identify and work with mentors. I know a lot more than I did before, so this is an ongoing process that you will continue to get good at. It's a skill that you'll continue to hone, and I just think we're very fortunate today to have Summer here. We're going to start this conversation now, and you're getting the type of training. I didn't even know anything about what you're about to learn when I was at your level, and so I'm really hoping you'll be able to see the benefits here and be able to connect to this in a really real way. So with that, I'll step down. Yeah, you.
Hi, everybody. This is a lot of people to look at, so I just want to start off. My name is Summer. I'm at the Regional Research Institute at the Graduate School of Social Work here at PSU. And my background has been in clinical research, and I've worked with adolescents in foster care transitioning to adulthood. Most adolescents in foster care with disabilities, and an intervention that's based in self-determination. So that's my background. And my personal experience with public speaking is that I hate it, right? Okay. So my mentors, several years ago, I told them I suck at this. It just causes me so much anxiety, so please make me do it as much as possible. So they did. So now I'm better than I used to be, but one of the things I like to do is make it a conversation and make it interactive. So when I'm asking a question, I'm not being rhetorical. So if I say, what do you think about that? I really look forward to hearing what you think. With that, why don't we go ahead and get started? I think Dawn did a good job of sort of laying the foundation that you guys are going to hear a lot about mentoring, and there's a lot of different ways to view mentoring or think about it. And you're going to hear a lot about it today, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. So our conversation today is going to be really specific, okay? Let's go ahead and get started. There's a lot of different ways to define a mentor. And I'd like to hear what you guys think about what a mentor is. What does that mean? What does that word mean? I'm sorry?
Guidance.
Guidance. What else? Support. Knowledge. Experience. Yeah.
Trustworthy.
Yep.
Passion.
Yeah, passion.
Counseling.
Yep. Counseling.
Someone pushing to the unknown.
Someone to push you to the unknown, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. So I'm going to use the word mentor really loosely, and I'm going to be thinking about those descriptions that you said. So mentoring can be called a lot of different things. It can be a counselor, it can be a guidance counselor, it can be an ally, it can be a support person, it can be a consultant, a leader, a trusted guide. Okay, so what I like, when you look at the word mentor and you look at definitions, the one that really resonated with me was this: a mentor is one who guides another to greater success. Okay, so I'm going to use that term very broadly, mentor. So let's talk a little bit more about the characteristics of what's in a mentor. Not only are they trustworthy, do they have experience, they might guide you, they might counsel you. What is that person like? What do they have that makes them a mentor?
A desire to see you succeed.
Yes. Key. Experience? Is that what you said? Yes, thanks. Yeah. What else do they have?
They have established success already, so it's something you probably want to mirror or go toward.
Totally. Absolutely. Say that one more time.
Empathy.
Empathy. Absolutely.
Maybe they came from a background where they either appreciated a mentor that they once had, so they want to be there for future students and ensure the success of those. And maybe or possibly they didn't have a mentor, so they would provide that kind of service for them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that some of the things that you guys are saying is really resonating with me. So a mentor has a whole bunch of qualities, and some of the key things are they have a drive to see you succeed. I think that that's really important, right? And a relatability, or something around this empathy component where they can either relate to your situation and someone helped them out so they want to pay it forward, or they were lacking that and they know how hard the struggle is, so they want to make it easier for someone else, okay? It's not what you know, but who you know. Have you heard that cliche a million and one times? Literally a million times. Okay. So I want to think about that phrase for just a second, because how many people think about all the jobs you've ever had? And I want you to just think about how many of those jobs you got because you knew someone. So what I mean is someone said, hey, you're perfect for this, go apply for it. Or someone said, hey, I know a friend, I know you're looking for a job, and they're looking to hire someone for such and such. It's not what you're looking for, but they need someone, and I know you're looking. Or if someone said, I need someone, and you're perfect. We can all apply for jobs. We can all go hit the pavement, but you hit the keyboard these days and apply online, and we can do all that, but most of our jobs come from some sort of a connection. Now, Alan and I were talking, we were just outside chatting a bit, and I've had the job that I have now with the people that I work for, who I consider my mentors, since 2004. But I got the job kind of randomly because I needed a job, and I'd been interning at another job, and that position was ending, and so I just started applying all over the place. But someone knew Lori, who was hiring, she's still my supervisor, and said, hey, you might be a really good fit over there. You should look and see what they're doing at the Center on Self-Determination. So I did, and I got hired on at an entry-level position, and that was in 2004. That was in 2002. So I'm not even going to do the math. It just means I'm old, and I've been doing the same thing for a long time. We're building and building and building because the people that I fell into, they had a passion. They saw something in me. They had an empathy for where I was, and they believed in me, and they pushed me. Just like these qualities that you're talking about. And I didn't even think about it at the time. I just knew I needed a job, and it was vaguely in the realm of where I wanted to be. Never thought I'd be in research. Never dawned on me to be like, I want to do clinical research. Let's find out how to do that. I just knew I could relate to at-risk youth. That's kind of where I was at. So social capital. It's not what you know, it's who you know. So social capital refers to the collective value of all social networks and the inclinations that arise from these networks to do things for each other. Okay, so I want to be really specific that this is about reciprocity as well. It's not just like you're exploiting someone because of what they can do for you. We're looking for those mutually beneficial relationships. There's different types. I know Dawn hit on this. There's different types of social support. So we have these different domains like professional, educational, academic, personal, community, cultural, familial. For today, we're going to hit on 4 domains. We're going to really talk about our academic circles. We're going to talk about our career circles. We're going to talk about our personal, family, and one more. It's on the next slide. But you're going to really hit. We're going to really hit on the cultural identity piece, I think, on Friday. So I'm going to leave that to a different person. And then there's different kinds of mentors, right? There's what I call role-based mentors, and those are people that are in a specific role that makes sense for you to access based on what you're working on. Okay, so those are people in the academic advising office. Those are people in the tutoring center. Those are people who happen to have a job. They're the RA in your dorm, and that person is kind of placed in your life because they're there in that role that you need to access. And then there's what I call chosen or identified mentors. Those are people that you kind of come into contact with through a hobby, through the community, at school, and in life, right? and there's something about them that you feel like you connect with, and you just kind of like them and you're drawn to them, okay? And so you can use these mentors, they're not mutually exclusive, but you can use all these kinds of support people, all right? So keep your eyes open and keep your ears open and really expand the idea of what a mentor can be and who it looks like. There's long-term and short-term. So some mentoring relationships really are role-based, okay? And they kind of naturally fade away and they end when it doesn't suit where you are in your life. You've moved past that. Some of those people that were role-based become personal mentors because even though you moved out of that realm, you wanted to maintain a connection with them because you really grew to care for each other. You really had a mutual relationship. So it can look any way you want. So we're going to go ahead and identify our own personal support networks. So go ahead and turn to the last page. Well, actually, I don't know what page it is for you all. But the eco map of support. We're going to do a really simplified version of an eco map. An eco map is just a visual representation of your support network, okay? We're going to be in these domains here: personal, academic, career, and daily life. So take this circle, and in the middle of this circle, just write your name. And then you're going to draw 4 circles that are floating. They're not connected to that middle circle yet, okay? And in those 4 floating circles, you're going to write personal, academic, career, and daily life. And we're going to start with one of those domains. Someone tell me where to start. Just throw it out.
Academic.
Perfect. Let's start with academic. I want you to think of the people who are your support network for school or your academics. Think of at least 3. If you can't get there, do your best. But let's not, worry about being exhaustive just for the point of the exercise today. And just write their names on the outside of that circle, kind of around that circle. They don't have to be in that circle, just around it. 3 people who are your support for your academics. Let's go to the next domain. Someone tell me where to go next. Career. 3 people, write their names on the outside of that circle, who support you with your career. Yeah.
Can some of them be multiple locations?
Yeah, I think that for the point of this exercise, it'd be nice to keep them separate. So try to put them into one, but you're totally right? Some of our personal people are our best academic supporters. But later on, we're going to try and connect them and see how it maps out. All right, where do we go next? We've got daily life or personal?
Personal.
Thank you. So name 3 of your personal support people. Those are the people that you count on when you're struggling in life. You give them a call, or you need some money, they help you out. Or you need to know where to get some money, they help you out. It could be family, it could be your identified family. I don't care how you define family. You all know who you consider family. It could be friends, it could be significant others. Let's hit daily life. Think about those people who are in your daily life that support you. Here's where some overlap might happen, but those are the people who maybe you need a bus ticket, and that's the person that sells you your bus ticket every single day. Who do you get support on in your daily life? It could be someone at the gym. They help you think of a new fitness routine. It could be someone at your community center. Who's in your daily life that provides you some kind of support? So I want you to take a few minutes and look at these domains. And I want you to start drawing lines between you and the people that you've identified, okay? The lines are going to indicate the strength of your connection to that person. So if you have a really tight bond, this is someone that you are very, very close with. You trust them. You know them. They know you. Just draw a line from your name to theirs. Look at everybody, and then there's going to be those people that you feel kind of, you're connected somehow, but it's not a super personal, intense bond. And that can look like this. Try not to overthink it. Just, throw a line down that makes your gut reaction to that person. As you're going through that and you're drawing these lines, I want you to think about the flow of resources between you and those people, those individuals, as you're drawing your lines. And I want you to think about if the flow of resources is mostly from you to them. So let's say this is you, or me, and this is your support network. I'm just going to put S in, your support person, right? Is the flow going from you to them? You provide them a lot of support? Or is the flow going the other way? They mostly provide you support. Or is it really, really balanced and mutual, and it goes both ways? Doesn't matter if it's a solid line or a dashed line. There's a flow of resources or support. Try to identify which way it goes. And then the last step for this sort of stripped down eco map that we're doing, think about who's on that map or who you've got down there and who knows each other in these circles. If someone from this domain knows someone from this domain, draw that line of connection. And what you might assume to be the flow of resources. Okay, so if you haven't finished, come back to it, and we will be referring back to this and sort of building on this concept. So this is your support network. So this is a start to identifying potential mentors, right? If we're using the term very broadly, and we're really talking about one who can guide you to greater success. Everybody on there could potentially be someone that's guiding you to greater success, right? Because you put down support people. They might support you by selling you your bus ticket, but they supported you with your goal to get a bus ticket that day, right? So one can only guide you to greater success if you know what greater success is for you and how you define it. What is greater success for you? What are your goals? What do you want? The first thing to being able to identify who can support you is to know what you want out of life, okay? So if you don't have your goals really laid out in each of these domains, you should probably have some goals in each of these domains. If you don't know what those are, think on that. What do I want? That's how I always start. I talk a lot about goals with people, and sometimes people get really turned off with that word. It's overwhelming, or it's abstract, or there's a pressure that's implied if you've got a goal and you've got to do it then. But I always think, like, what do I want? Well, I want to get fit, right? So I have a goal to get fit. Where do I start? Who could support me with that? Well, there's someone at the YMCA I could probably talk to about the membership. Okay? So identify what you want. What are your goals? And then use those people in your support network to move you forward, gain traction, get momentum, and start achieving what you want. Do you guys have any questions or thoughts at this point? Okay. So building your support network. Identify people based on what you want out of life. What are your goals? Who's around you? Who is missing from your map that you need to expand on? Reaching out. Once you know what you want and you've got an idea of who it is, maybe you don't know that person very well. Or you kind of feel like you're connected with this person, but starting that conversation is awkward. Schmooze them. Reach out to them. Smile. What does schmoozing mean? Anybody? It's a random word. I don't know. No?
Kind of like complimenting,
Yes.
oh, you're so great, I want to be like you help me out.
Sure. If that's like natural for you to say that to people, do it. That's great. Totally. What else? Any other ideas of what schmoozing is?
I feel like it has a lot to do with emphasizing any relationship you might already have with them.
Okay, yeah, say more about that. Can you be descriptive?
So, for instance, if I have a teacher that maybe is in the same field that I'm interested in, maybe talking to them more about that field, talking to them about your interests, their interests,
Right.
Relating yourself to them more and more.
Absolutely. So building them up, telling them you think they're awesome, and you're interested in the same stuff that they are. Absolutely, that's really high level schmoozing. That's very, that's a skilled level of being able to connect with someone. I'm serious, because really, it could be smiling at someone, right? Just engaging with them at the very fundamental level that maybe you haven't had a whole lot of conversations, or you're not comfortable yet. So start by meeting their eye contact, making a smile, introducing yourself, saying hey. It really can look like a lot of different things depending on who you are and who they are and what kind of relationship you want to build. But it's a risk that we take, right? We have to step out of our comfort zone, some of us more than others. For me, it's like a big deal to meet someone new. I'm not that person. But some people, they make friends everywhere they go. So, use it if you can do that. Maintain your relationships. It's reciprocal, right? So check in with them. How are they doing? What's going on in their day-to-day? Don't let too much time go by. Just because maybe you're not working on that specific project that they were connected to with you doesn't mean you can't say, hey, grab a cup of coffee. Organize your support. As you guys are entering your schools and going into college, I think it's a really good idea to collect business cards. So when you're at the tutoring center or you're at this office or that office or counseling center, grab those business cards, okay? And then have a place where you put them. So they make these plastic things that have business card dividers. Have you ever seen those? They're fabulous. Put that in a notebook and just keep it. So you always have this whole list of business cards, and sometimes you get a specific person's name and you can handwrite it on there. Organize your support, all right? Organize everything, but keep those business cards and refer back to them. If there's not a business card, get their contact information. Ask them, is it okay if I email you? Can I give you a phone call someday if I have a question about this? Get their contact information. People are really open to it. They want to help. They want to help you get where you want to go. Can I do a time check? Because I don't have any clocks up here.
2:25.
Thank you. Oh, we're doing fabulous. Asking for help is a skill. I think that sometimes we oversimplify asking for help. Or we do the opposite and we feel like we shouldn't need help, right? We're adults. We can do this. We've been through a lot. We can overcome. We can make it on our own, right? Some people think asking for help is a weakness, and some people think that it's just so easy. But really, I find that there's a middle ground in there, and asking for help is truly a skill, and it's important that you know how to ask for help. So we have 3 steps here that I always use from the curriculum that I work with. There's 3 things that are really helpful when you're asking someone for help. Who can help you? This goes back to this identification of what your goal is and who's the best person to help. It can be a role-based person or it can be a personal person. What do you need exactly? Get specific in your own head what you need from them. Because sometimes we go ask for help from someone and it's such a vague request that they don't even know where to begin. They want to help you, but they don't know how. Okay, so a vague request could be, let me think. Can you help me raise my grades? That's a big request. There's a million things someone could do to help you. But you need to know what you really need from them. Do you need someone to wake you up on time because you're sleeping through your alarm? Do you need someone to help you find a tutor because there's one class in particular you're struggling with? Do you need someone to help you organize because you're getting all this syllabi and all these homework assignments and you're like, papers are everywhere and you can't find things? What is it that you need help with? Get real with yourself, what you need, so you can ask for it, okay? And then how will you explain what you need? How do you be clear with them what you need? Once you know what you need, how do you tell them, okay, here's what's going on. My GPA is about to drop below 2.5, and I have a goal to keep it at 2.5 because the program that I want to go into in 2 years requires a minimum GPA of 2.5, and I'm failing this class. So what I need from you is to help me find a tutor because my writing sucks. Okay? That's just one example. There's a million trillion examples that might be more relatable to each of you. But explain what you need really specifically and ask for something specific. Strategies for reaching out. Okay, this is also kind of like a duh thing, but I feel like let's just be clear about it. Timing. All right, when it's the end of the quarter and everybody's stressed out and teachers are preparing for finals, is that the time to ask for an extension on an assignment that's due? I mean, probably not. You could try it, but you're probably not going to be so successful. If it's a personal thing, I always talk about this I work with younger adolescents sometimes, and we often have to talk to their foster parents or their caseworkers for things, but, so I always ask, right after school, when, everyone's coming home and throwing their backpacks down and it's kind of chaotic, is that the time to ask if you can go hang out somewhere? Probably not. Let's let things settle down and chill out. Young people, they always know, right? So if you think about who you're talking to or who you're going to ask, they always can tell you, well, when mom has had her glass of wine and she's chilling out watching TV, that's she usually says yes, right? So if you're going to ask for support, think about who you're asking and what timing. Office hours, a lot of people have office hours, so it's really black and white. It's very clear and easy when you're thinking about academic support. Tutoring hours, so there's sometimes it's well, that's clear. Between 2 and 4 is when I ask for help. But if it's a personal relationship, be strategic, be thoughtful of what's going on in that person's life and in the context of their job or their educational experience as well. Crafting an effective email. So there's different ways to type of communication. There's different ways to communicate with people asking for help. Written is often, that's just really easy these days, right? Because we have so much electronic communication. Or you can go and talk to someone. So I recommend thinking about the difference between those two. I think these days it's so easy for this generation, including myself, to rely on a written communication rather than picking up the phone or stopping by and saying hey in person. Sometimes it's actually a really good idea to say hey in person or make that phone call. There's something that comes across in energy through the voice or through your person that is different than an email, right? So email is convenient and it's an important tool to use, but I would recommend you get comfortable talking to people, reaching out, being who you are. You're going to develop these relationships by being you and being authentic, talking about passions and talking about what you're really interested in, connecting with someone based on what they're doing and it's something that you love. So when you can talk to them and you get this energy that's kind of going back and forth, that's inspiring and that's connecting. It's helping them remember oh, I had a mentor that I totally forgot about, and it's inspiring them to pass that on. So connecting in person is a really good idea. Email is also a really good idea because people are busy, and the reality is sometimes, depending on the role or what you're asking for, an email makes sense. So being effective in an email, I think Dawn mentioned that you guys maybe were talking about elevator speeches. Okay, so I feel like an email is kind of the same thing when you're asking for support. And if you think about these 3 steps, when you're asking for help, that's a really good way to craft your elevator speech, okay? A narrative in an email, meaning like 2, 3, 4 paragraphs, is probably a lot. Especially if you need something concrete from this person. You know, keep it simple, keep it straightforward, be honest, and be specific. Okay. So we're going to think about goals right now. Go ahead and turn to the back of your eco map. Sorry. Just use that blank paper or find a blank space. I want you to think about 3 goals that you have. And they can be any kind of a goal. I know we've been talking, or you all have been talking a lot about research and academics, and this is a very, educational focused orientation. But we're whole people. We are more than education. So if you've got a goal to buy a car, if you've got a goal to go on a vacation, it can be academic, whatever you want. 3 of your goals that you've got right now. So for each goal, I want you to take one at a time. I want you to look at those goals, and I want you to think about one person who could potentially help you with that goal. You can refer to your eco map if you're kind of stuck. You can also think about a role. So if you don't know the name of the person, but what they do, what their role is that can help you. So then I want you to look at each of those people and those goals, and I want you to write down just briefly what it is that they could each do. What is it that they could do to help you with the goal that their name is next to? Okay, so now we're going to practice asking for help. I want you to choose just one of those goals and the corresponding person and what they could do for you, okay? And I want you to prepare yourself to ask for help. You can write it down, you can do bullet points, whatever you do to prepare, but you're going to pair up and you're actually going to role play this, okay? You're going to work through it and you're going to say it and you're going to feel awkward, but you're just going to get it done, all right? Everyone hates a role play, I know. But I'm telling you, they are so effective. Because as soon as you say those awkward words of like, here's what I need, and you feel so silly, but then it's done, and the next time isn't as awkward, okay? So we're just going to put our toes in the water. So I don't know if we're even numbering here, but find a partner that's close in your proximity and work through this. I'm going to give you just a couple minutes to prepare first, so you know what you want to say, and then you're going to pair up, and you're going to take turns practicing, here's what I need, here's who I am, blah, blah, blah. Make sense? Any questions? Okay, so take a couple minutes, write your elevator speech version of asking for help, right? I'm going to step back real quick so that you can see the 3 things that I always remind people to do for asking for help, so you can be super clear. Let's come back together as a group. Thank you. Thanks, guys. So let's debrief as a group. Did you guys get a chance to give each other feedback about how that went? So now everybody tell me how it went. How did it feel? Did it feel natural? Was it awkward?
A little awkward, but I think it felt relatively natural.
Good.
Well, it's hard to like direct when we have a student who's the same age.
Yeah.
It's really hard to ask her to speak each my daughter to this works.
Totally. Right? So maybe there goes back to how identify who to ask for support, right? So this is the most natural environment to be asking your neighbor for support when something is totally wrong. Yeah. What else did it feel like, or what else did you do?
I noticed that some conversations are definitely better through email, so it's kind of hard to communicate from it's something that should be email.
Can you just give an example? What does that mean?
Yeah, so I want to do physical therapy, and one of my goals was to find like someone to shadow. And so considering that like I don't have those connections, I figured that the best way would be to like get a hold of someone's emails and just like shoot them an email, because there's not like I'm not gonna know them even if I do talk to them face to face. So it's like it's probably easier for that situation just to like email.
Completely. Yeah. Good example. Yeah.
I feel like we all have enough experience because we're this far in the game, our academic game,
Yeah.
as far as those kinds of concerned. So I think we're kind of used to hearing some of the regular answers. We could like refer to the syllabus in our example or something like that.
Right.
But I think it's easy when you talk to like a friend or peers about it, and then you realize that you do have a lot of the information, and it's just kind of structuring it in a way that you know is really beneficial and like advantageous for you.
Yeah.
So just thinking about it, like you know this, you know what they're gonna say. What's the worst they can say? Refer to the syllabus. That is the worst.
Totally.
So,
Absolutely. What a good strategy, right? If you sort of practice in your head what might happen, play the situation out, what could they say if you're nervous about approaching someone new, and worst case scenario is really, if you play it all the way out, usually you're like, oh, I can handle that.
yeah.
Good. What else do you guys know or experience?
It didn't, I don't think we thought about it, but as we like gave each other's scenarios, it was really strategic in how we phrased it and presented it. Like things to say, like I said, the wine example, words to say or phrases to say that a person is more likely to say yes to. And what we did is add context to what we were asking for, as well as detail. But if we had familiar situations, like people were relatively like close with or at least comfortable with. But if it was a stranger, I think I would have actually thought about how I phrased it and used words to make it as clear
Did
and
you say you would or wouldn't
I
have?
would,
You would.
yeah,
And not so much if it was personal.
right. It would be more natural just as it came up, but I would definitely strategize if it was a stranger.
Totally makes a lot of sense, right? Yeah. Good. Good observation.
I think it's really important to be specific about what you want to, because then, like in my experience, if you say something like, well, I need help in your class.
Yes.
Be really vague about it. They'll say something like, oh, well, we have a tutor that meets sometimes on Thursday, and blah, blah. But if you want, like, specifically professor's feedback in that context, of course. I want
Absolutely.
professor's feedback on like a certain assignment, blah, blah, blah. And then it gets awkward if they like suggest something, and then you're like, well, no, actually, what I want was this. So it's easier to just say it up front. I really like you did this for me because
Yep.
this.
Absolutely.
Even when we're all talking, it's like easy for one of us to respond and just like,
Yeah.
well, I do this for you. And you're like,
Exactly. Well, that kind of pairs with what this gentleman was saying around, you kind of know what the responses are going to be. So a lot of times people will sort of give you the script. You know, they'll just tell you back, well, this is what we generally say to you when you ask this question. But maybe you knew that that was what they're going to say, and you really had something more specific that you need, or maybe tutoring doesn't work for you for some reason. So being really specific about what you do need and thinking it through beforehand so you can prepare, like, well, they're probably going to say this, but that's not going to work for me. So how can I get what I need? How can I be more specific about what I need? It's a really good point. And I think for me that goes back to preparation. A lot of times when we're asking for help, we're not really prepared to ask for what we really need. We just know we need help. And we know this person's in front of us, and that might make sense to ask them. But we're not super prepared, so we're not getting our needs met the right way or being as efficient as we possibly could be.
I
overvalue what you just said from a professor's point of view. If you come into my office and you say to me, I need help, I'm always willing to help you. But if you haven't thought about ahead of time what help you need, then we can't help you. So it's really important when you're coming in to be prepared. And sending an email ahead and saying, I want an appointment, forces you to think about that. So the combination of the two things can be very effective. Because the students who come in who think about what they need and are really specific often get 10 times more out of the encounter than the students who don't.
And don't you find that the face-to-face interaction with the student that way is more beneficial? As a student, I've found that I have the times that I have made an appointment and gone in and had a one-on-one conversation with the instructor. That way they put a face to it. It's not just a quick email. It's there's a person there, and we can dialogue, and the exact issue gets addressed.
And we feel better because someone came to visit us during our office hours, and we aren't just sitting around, what's the grocery list doing? I mean, literally, sometimes that's the way it is. And you have someone come in, and you see the light go on in their eyes, and it makes you feel good about your day as the teacher.
So it's reciprocal.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. We're not bothering you.
No.
Other thoughts or experiences preparing yourself, like figuring out what you wanted, was that part difficult or challenging at all, or was that pretty easy? Like, well, I know what I need. Yes. Anyone else?
It's like sometimes you know professor who are going to need, but you can mess it up in seconds. Sometimes it's good to start looking at what you're doing and how you introduce yourself.
Absolutely.
Who you are and kind of what your plans are, and go back to them later so that they already know who you are.
Totally,
So,
right?
I need all this help from you right now.
Yeah, it's laying the foundation. That's part of schmoozing, right? So just saying hello, getting to know them, because you know that they're in a role that might make sense. You're going to access some support later. Good. Anything else before we move on? Okay. Is that a hand? Yeah.
Sure. The other nice thing about the preparation is that you can get help more quickly and more efficiently if you're prepared ahead of time. Because there's nothing worse than like the 3-day email back and forth to try to figure out what the actual question is, and then you get the question answered. Or then you come into the office and then it takes an hour to finally figure out what you're struggling with when you've already kind of lost an hour just figuring out and getting prepared while you're there. So.
Absolutely. And I think that what you're saying is resonating with me in the sense that it's good to check in with someone else every now and then. So for example, this role play, you got feedback from that person, and I'm hoping they kind of told you, well, yeah, that made sense to me, or it didn't make sense to me. So I think one thing I've learned about myself personally over time is that I feel like I'm being really super clear. I feel like I'm telling you exactly what I need or what I think, and they really don't understand, right? Which, you know, when enough people don't understand you, it's not them, it's this right here. Right? So maybe I need to learn how to articulate myself better, and I've definitely that's a theme for me. So, you know, if I had some feedback earlier on about like, well, it wasn't making sense to me what you were saying, I understood this. So checking yourself, really checking in with who you are and questioning your own, you know, am I being clear? Do I really know what I need? Am I articulating that appropriately? Is my timing good? All of those things. Okay, good. Prepare for unexpected challenges. Okay, we all live life. We all know that things don't always go as planned. So let's go ahead and prepare for that. Let's start expanding our networks now. Okay? Think about yourself as a whole person, meaning you need support in all these domains that we talked about today, and probably a couple others that you're going to hit on later in the week. It's really important to start thinking specifically about all the things that might come up in planting those seeds, right? This person's in a role that I might access later. So the counseling, here's the Student Health and Counseling Center, but every school has a counseling center, maybe that's something that you might be accessing. Maybe you should go check in and grab a business card and add it to your organizational file, right? Maybe you know you're going to need a tutor. Maybe that's something that you've used in the past. Maybe you need accommodations at the Disability Resource Center, so you should check in over there ASAP, right? Start making a connection with someone in that office that you can connect with over time. Keep going back to them. Build a relationship with them. Go ahead.
And one thing I've noticed is that a lot of times you don't even know what resources you might need.
Right.
But there are oftentimes directories or resources available that can give you a list of people who might be able to help you.
Absolutely. And sometimes there's an office on campus that does that too, and there's a person there, right?
Yeah.
Make friends with that person. Bring them a donut one day. They will remember you, right? And they'll be like, oh yeah, what do you need today? Who do you need to talk to? What can I do? Prepare for unexpected challenges. Start planting those seeds. Start building your network. And the first thing you do is put your eyes up and your ears open and start looking at who's around you, who's in your world, who's in your environment that you can connect with. Look at your domains on your eco map, and do they all seem sufficient? I know I said, 3 people, so maybe you have a lot more than what you put down on your eco maps today, but maybe something felt a little like you were struggling to find 3 people in that domain. Maybe you need to beef up a domain. I can't emphasize enough, we're whole people. I know you guys are students and you're going to be hitting the books really hard, and that's going to be sort of a primary focus of your life for a while. But you still have everything else going on. You still are a person with a family connection, with community connections, with fun connections, recreational connections. Okay, think about all your domains. And then just do what we've been talking about. Be friendly, use your schmoozings, drop by, say hi, bring them a donut, connect. Take a risk and connect with some people. So Thursday, we're going to expand on this, and we're going to talk more about some specific skills, and I'll bring in some additional tools, some templates that you can use or you can lose them. I don't care what you do with them. It's just an option. All right? It's just an idea of how to go about it. Any last thoughts or questions on the conversation that we've started today? Ready for a break?
Me too.